Next, in our Capitol Insight segment, we speak with recently appointed State Senator Darin LaHood from Peoria. Senator LaHood, whose father is the current U.S. Secretary of Transportation Ray LaHood, tells us why he sought appointment to the Illinois Senate and some of the issues he'll focus upon. This runs about 10 minutes. Senator Darin LaHood, thanks for joining us on the Illinois Channel.
Thank you for having me, Terry.
First, let's get the perfunctories out of the way. You're a relatively brand new senator. You just replaced Dale Risinger, who left, and you have a very familiar name. And in case anyone is wondering, yes, you are related to former Congressman and now U.S. Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood. He's your father. So, first of all, congratulations on your appointment. And tell us, if you would, given your whole history of knowing politics through your father and all, what drew you to want to be a senator in the Illinois State Senate?
Well, first of all, let me just say I'm extremely humbled and honored to have this position. I was sworn into this position 3 weeks ago yesterday through an appointment process after Senator Risinger announced his retirement. We had many qualified candidates, and I was very pleased that I got the unanimous support of the county chairman. And a little bit about my background. I spent 4 years as a congressional staffer in Washington, D.C. I spent about 9 years as a state and federal prosecutor, 4 years with the George W. Bush administration as a federal prosecutor, and then for the last 5 years as a municipal attorney in Peoria, representing municipalities throughout central Illinois. I should also note that I was the Republican candidate for state's attorney in Peoria County 2 years ago, in a strong Democratic year, and I was not successful. But I'm very honored to have this position and to have this responsibility. And really, I go into this job, with the premise that things in Springfield are broke. People are frustrated with the times we're in right now, and they want somebody that's going to have some energy and passion to do things differently. And that's what I talked about in my interview process and what I hope to do. And so in that process, I am going to bring some energy and passion. And these first 3 weeks have been exciting. But really what I've been doing is meeting my colleagues, listening, and learning. And, I don't pretend to be an expert in any particular field, but I have been learning the process, learning the rules, and listening to a lot of the senior members in my caucus. And thus far, it's been a very, very good experience.
I was going to say, as you've already explained, you have a wealth of governmental background. Is there anything that surprised you or was surprised you being here so far, or is it all pretty much as you had experienced from other work that you've done?
I just think the amount of information and the amount of things that are going on has been surprising to me, and sort of compartmentalizing all that information. There's a lot of people coming at you that have an issue in your district or around the state. I'm on 5 different committees, and so I've gotten to be exposed to a lot of different things. I'm on transportation, I'm on energy, I'm on environment, I'm on human services, and also on gaming. So just sitting on those 5 committees and seeing all the different issues that are out there, and then, aside from that, just learning about our budgetary issues and the problems we have and the debt we have, that's all that information is a bit overwhelming as a new senator.
Something else, people who are familiar at all with Congress and Washington, the members of Congress have, as you were on staff, they have quite a bit of staff. It's quite different here. How much staff do you have as an Illinois State Senator?
Well, I'm just learning that coming into this job, and I should say Senator Dale Risinger has been a real mentor to me throughout this process. I talk to him probably every other day, and he's been terrific, especially on transportation issues. In terms of my district, I represent 7 counties. That's Peoria County, Stark County, Marshall County, Knox County, Bureau County, and Woodford County. And I have 3 offices back there. I have one in Princeton, Illinois, which is in Bureau County, another in Galesburg, which is Knox County, and then a third one in North Peoria. So I have those 3 offices, and I have a part-time staff person in Galesburg and a part-time person in Princeton, and then I have a full-time person in Peoria. I additionally have an office here that I share a secretary with another senator. So in terms of your question, yeah, the staffing that I think members at the federal level have is not the same at the state level. So I have some very good quality people that are helping me in this with constituent stuff. But a lot of it is learning on your own, and that's been the process for me is listening and learning as much as I can here.
Yeah, and I don't mean that people should cry crocodile tears for members of the Illinois State Legislature, but given the differences with the U.S. Congress, you actually have many more votes in the Illinois State Legislature than they do in Congress. You have virtually no staff on a comparative basis. So really members here not only are paid about half of what, or less than half of what a U.S. congressperson is paid, but really have to take on quite a workload when they come in here.
Yeah, and I think, when you look at the amount of bills, I guess that's another very surprising thing. I think between the House and the Senate, there's close to 6,000 bills that have been introduced just in this session. And, that's, an amazing amount of legislation and bills. And, obviously all those are not going to get to the Senate floor for me to see, but a good portion of those are. And, the leadership here has been very, very helpful. Leader Radonio and her staff have been tremendous with mentoring me and helping me through that process. But it is a little bit overwhelming when you think about the amount of bills and the amount of legislation and what's going to come down the pipe here between now and the end of May.
And, we talk about party politics, but actually to this extent, this is where the party also is a great asset for any member, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, because you have the leadership and the party staffing. So the leadership has some of that background, I guess, to brief some of the members on some of those bills you may not have been able to get up to speed on through your own committee assignments.
Yeah, I think that's correct. And as I said, that staff has been tremendous to me in helping me, some orientation things and just learning process-wise. So yeah, that has been extremely helpful. And we've obviously had a lot of meetings within our caucus going over budgetary issues, looking at spending cuts, looking at how we can change things in government, change things in Springfield, do things differently. And so that's been a wealth of knowledge also.
Let's talk, you mentioned legislation. What are some of the pieces of legislation that either you've introduced yourself, and I know you're new to the job, but or what issues are you particularly focused in on?
Well, obviously budgetary issues and the mess that our state's in, and looking at our deficits, that has to be the primary function. And looking at my 7 counties, I mean, jobs and, reinvigorating the economy is the most important thing. I will tell you this, the first bill that I sponsored was a Senate bill to repeal the state income tax. I've heard from so many people in my 7 counties about...
Can I interrupt for a minute? I just want to clarify. Are you going to repeal the income tax or just roll back the increase?
I am going to roll it back to the levels it was prior to the lame duck session when that was put into place. So it would go back to 3.25 and also would roll back the corporate rate too. And I think I wanted to put that out as my first bill because I think that's a huge priority that we shouldn't be taxing to get out of this recession. And so that was the first bill I sponsored. The second one was SB 27, which challenges Attorney General Lisa Madigan on the release of the FOID cards. That's extremely important to members, constituents in my district and to me. I don't think that's the right way to go. I don't think it's good public policy to be doing that. I've also sponsored a concealed carry bill in the Senate. I think that's important legislation. When you look at states that have implemented concealed carry, crime rates have gone down. As a former state and federal prosecutor that's prosecuted a lot of gun cases, on that, I believe you go after criminals that possess weapons. That's the best way to deter crime. And I've also introduced a bill to cut legislative pay. I think there's going to be some really tough decisions that we're going to have to make in Springfield. And it's going to entail cuts. There's no way around it. And some of those are going to be very tough on people. Social service agencies, and lots of different sectors. And I've authored a bill to cut 10% legislators' pay. And I think it's an important precedent to set before we engage in this process of cutting other things around the state.
Before we let you go, we mentioned Ray LaHood. He has a lot of friends from the years that he spent in Illinois state government. How's your dad doing?
He's doing well. And, I'll say this. I was raised with 2 very, very good parents. My mom and dad raised the 4 of us in a good family atmosphere and good values. And, I can't say enough about being fortunate in that respect. And so I'm pleased to have the parents I do.
Tell them we send our best, and Senator Darin LaHood, thank you for joining us on the Illinois Channel, and again, welcome to the Illinois State Senate.
Thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you.